Hello everyone. In this lessons, we are going to learn how to connect with our PHP and MyAdmin. To connect in the PHP and MyAdmin, you have to first create a folder called a file. But what are the files you're going to create? It should be inside this public.html. For example, I'm going to create a file called connection.php. So if I want to check the connection.php, this connection.php is going to establish a connection with my PHP and MyAdmin. So my code connect with my PHP and MyAdmin so that it can communicate with my database. So at this moment, if I just type this ability so that's my domain name and my username, then I'm going to check connection.php. So if I just run this thing, I'm just waiting. Let's see what the message gives me. Taking a long time for some reason. Okay, finally. You see, the request was not found on the server because we haven't created any file yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a file inside the public.html. So inside, it should be inside the public.html. So that's how it is structured in our college system. So I'm going to connect a file, new file, and I'm going to give a name, which is connection.php. Okay. So my file is connection.php. When I create the connection.php, okay, that's connection.php. In this connection.php, at this one, I don't have anything. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my PHP code. You know that any PHP code you're going to write, it should be inside the PHP tag. So how is the PHP tag written? It should be it's a question mark PHP, then again you close the tag with the PHP. Now this thing works with the four different first three steps. First step is you just define. First step is you're going to define whatever things is needed. For example, I'm going to put the comment here where I'm going to so that you can understand it. So this is my define. Okay, what are the things is needed for our database? Okay, I'm going to define what are the things is needed. Okay. So that's the first part, which is define. I'm going to define the four different things. Okay, first one is my server. Second one is my username for my PHP and MyAdmin. Third one is my password for the PHP and MyAdmin. And fourth one is if I have created a database in my PHP and MyAdmin. That means if I want to connect with the database, that's the name will be the database. So first one is I'm going to define my username. So how I'm going to define it is also this define also two parts. One is okay. First part is for example, is the variables you're going to create. So this variable I'm going to give the name db underscore. It will be my server. So if it's the server, so I'm going to say db server is my variable name, and what will be in that here. So in the college admin, this server is localhost, and I'm going to write down that's localhost. If this localhost is different, something else, you just write down that localhost. Okay. After finishing this line, you give the semicolon. So that's my first thing is completed. My server name is done. Next thing I'm going to define is my username for the PHP and MyAdmins. Okay. It's also got two. First one section is the variable, so I'm going to write down db user name. Okay. This username is by default is set your S number, your student number. Okay, your student number, for example, something like this, that's your student number. In my case, my one is LSC teacher Y, so that's my server name, and I say, but you want to be the US numbers. Okay, and so my username is defined. Next thing is I'm going to define my password. This time I'm going to define the password. I'm going to define the password will be, I'm going to create a variable which is db password, db underscore password. Okay, then my password or the password. Your password will be, for example, if your S number is S1000, if your S number, it was 1000 at LSC. That's your password. That's your password. Okay, my case will be LSC teacher Y at LSC. That's my database. Okay, that's my password. Okay, so I'm going to give. The next thing is I'm going to define
okay. Oh, I cleaned all this.
Okay, so I'm going to create this variable which will be db underscore. That's the name of the database. Okay, I can say the database name, but to make it shorter, I'm going to just make name. And then what is my database name? This is the database you have created. For example, if your database is like customer is your database name, that will be a database name. You can put any database names. For example, I have created a database called I give this things called LSC teacher Y. That's my database name. That's what I have created. So this is my definition part. I have defined my 4 things. Next thing is I'm going to create the connections. Okay, this part will be for connections. So I'm going to put the comment as well so you get it. This part is for my connection. You don't need to type this part. You don't need to use this, but this is for comments only. So to mention, so that's the connection. This is the connection part. So we're going to create our connection now. Okay, how we going to connection? We need $sign link equals my SQLI, and then I'm going to bring the connect function. Okay, the connect functions. Inside this connect function, I'm going to pass the 4 different things we have created here. The first one is our server. Copy this and put it this DB server. The next one is my DB username. Okay, and next one is my DB password. Okay, DB password. And next one is my database name. Okay, so that's my connection is done. Next part is I'm going to check it whether it works or not. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the connection. Okay, I'm going to check the connection. Next part is check connection. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to write it capitals. Check connections. How are we going to check connection? We are going to make sure if this link, whatever we have done, is false. So how we can, okay, we just use the comparison operators. If this connection equals false, or we can see if it's true, up to you. So I'm going to say if it's false. First, if it's the false, then I'm going to pass some messages here. Okay, so I'm going to die the connection. Then I'm going to say, okay, you print some error message. What will be the error? Okay, error is could not connect to database. Okay, then I'm going to put my type of the error. Okay, error, then put semicolon. Okay, so I have saved this file. Then I put on my testing server, my connection file to the testing server. Then I check whether my connection. So I'm going to reload this page. Okay, currently unable to handle the request. WT connection.php. Let's see what's happened. Very slow. Okay, it's got some issue. That's the reason I'm checking the code. Okay, I got put 3, 4. It should be 3. Save it and again upload it. Go back. refresh it, and this connection established is not showing any messages, but my connection established, that's why it's not showing any message. But if my connection is fine, what I can do is I can give the else part here, else, then I can put a message here, echo and connection established, connection or connected successfully. Save it, run it. Yeah, it says connected successfully. I missed the semicolon. So now my connection, we have established the connections. Using this code, we have established the connection with our PHP and MyAdmin. So we have defined the four things. Localhost, that's set by our admin team, and then username. This is the username. If we go to the PHP and MyAdmin, you just put your domain name, then your PHP and MyAdmin, then it asks for the username and password. Make sure that you give the same username and the password. Then if you go inside the PHP and MyAdmin, after logging in, you'll see what are the database you have created and what will be the database you want to connect. That's the file you're going to, that's the database name you need to give, okay? Then we're going to start the connection, use the four different things we have created, then we check our database, okay? That's it. In the next lesson, we are going to make sure that for our registration page, we're going to plan a database, and based on the database, we're going to create a database, then we'll connect with the database. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so see you in the next lesson.